Monday morning, and another all too familiar sight. The burr plaster down here, and this has been caulked, and the caulk is starting to come away. So a common reason for that is this. So fresh plaster, and then the skirting board has been put in and then just caulked. And as we know with mist coats, if you're ever doing a mist coat, then what you need to do is add water to the paint so it absorbs into the plaster. Now this wall was mist coated before the skirting board went on and before it was caulked, but as you can see, I'm removing it. So the problem here is this running all the way along the bottom of the wall. Now this has been painted, it's all been finished, and the reason why that's happening is because the caulk, when it's been put on, has been wiped onto the wall. And then creating this bit of an edge. Quite ugly really. Here, burr plaster, the caulk has been applied and then it's been painted. Now, with the consistency of the paint, when it's thin, like I say, it will absorb into the plaster. The caulk in the tube is the consistency, there's not enough moisture for it to bond well with the plaster. So if we just look down here where it's sitting against the architrave, the skirting board, a little bit of cracking occurring already. Like I say, the caulk, the consistency of it, once it hits this dry plaster, it's drying too quick. I'll remove the bit of caulk sitting along there. So that's been removed. Take a look at what I've took out. This is the face that was against the skirting board. Obviously that way up. That's where I've cut it off. So then the reverse is what was sitting against the plaster. Okay, so not sure whether you can see the discoloration, the difference in colour. I'll show you better with this one. So all I did was wipe this side. So with a damp cloth, just wipe this. And you can see the difference, how it's whiter and pinker. That's the dust from the plaster. So that's why this won't sit against the wall properly, because this stuff is too thick to be applied to burr plaster. If we look at that same piece that I've just cleaned, and obviously the pink side of it and whiter, now it obviously shows that even the dust hasn't been absorbed into the caulk. I've just wiped it off. So that is why it will fail. So that's the caulk removed from this side. Does that look familiar? Take a look over there. You see the patch just above the skirting board where the caulk has took the dust, cleaned literally the plaster. Okay, now I'm not going to caulk this. I'll show you what I'll do. if I was to cork it, and it's the same process as the way I would fill it. And like I say, I'm not going to be using cork here. It's somewhere I just wouldn't use it. Cork, I feel, is more for new build site work, not for home improvement, more after the builders have left. Yeah, it is tempting to go straight in with the cork. In here I've got some diluted PVA, which is perfect for locking in any dust, and it is literally just a wipe down the back. That's it. Don't forget to wipe over with a damp cloth. That will provide a better key for the cork. It's above the skirting board. Not that you want to be putting cork that high. Meant to sit nice and flat. And again, cork, you'd be talking a 5mm bead in diameter. Now already that's quite a bit of a gap there. You've got depth as well as that. Yeah. So you'd probably need to backfill if you were going to be using cork there. So a quick one for backfilling is the foam, expanding foam. The gap filler is perfect for any areas where you can't quite get your cork all the way in, and also you've got drying time. Again, we're talking 5mm diameter, so some of these are huge. That would take a week easily to fully dry. So the foam to backfill, but I use the polyfiller. Right then, bit of a leap forward. I've nearly finished. I've got one more coat to go on the wall, and then I have 2 coats to go on the skirting board. It's all filled and primed, ready. So, like I say, anywhere in these corners, especially if you're putting cork in, 5mm, okay. Anything bigger, it'll take a bit longer to dry, especially in that corner. The movement of the air is not the same. So it might take up to a week for anything that's quite deep and wide. Now, when I finished off, I used the foam obviously to backfill, and then I just used a bit of polyfiller to finish off on the surface, any filling. Now this 5mm bead or 5mm depth will take about 3.5 hours to dry. So again, that depends on where you're situated. So corners may take a bit longer, humidity in the air, if you've got paint drying, so that will change things. Dehumidifiers help, but that's alright, that's looking good. I'm not going to have any problems there. And when if this gets papered, then we've got a really good solid edge to work on. Won't get any problems against the wall. That's looking top. So I hope you found that useful, and we do have more detailed videos on how to do things like this. Okay, thank you.